January 2020, I felt a pain in my stomach and went straight to the hospital. When the intern asked me my symptoms, I made fun of all the bizarre illnesses I could potentially have. A few hours later, when the resident looked at me, worried, I made fun about the fact that he was having a terrible day. When at 3 a.m., the chief of the department told me I have to have emergency surgery, I made a joke about the surgeon probably being asleep and that I will come back tomorrow. I joked about fashion when I changed for the hospital's ugly blue uniform. I joked on the wheelchair ride to the surgery room, and the last thing I remember before the anesthesia kicked in was to compare the surgeon with Dr. House. When the resident came to my room in the early morning to tell me what happened, I laughed, half dizzy. I said that whatever they removed, it must not have been functioning that well anyway, so it was not a big loss. He laughed. I joked my way through the entire process. I was alone that night. My family was away. I waited for hours not knowing what was going to happen and didn't expect to be rushed to surgery in the middle of the night. I was stressed, anxious, scared, but the only thing I was able to do was to joke. Humor is a significant part of my life. Recently, I have been called the researcher comedian. I'm a humor and leadership expert. I research the impact of humor on leadership. I also coach, train, and advise people and organizations on how to use humor to improve business performance. And I'm a stand-up comedian. You might think she is a comedian. Of course, she can laugh her way through anything. But in fact, I'm not that special. Using humor in times of crisis is a healthy coping mechanism. Firstly, there is a famous saying, humor is the best medicine. It's true. Humor triggers healthy physical and emotional changes in our body. And in times of crisis, it is powerful in diminishing stress. Secondly, humor can be an emotion regulator. It is an underlying character trait associated with positive emotions, which can undo negative emotions. In uncertain times, this can be a real superpower. Finally, one of the primary functions of humor is the creation of a feeling of belongingness and togetherness. In facing a global crisis, it is what we all crave for. So first, humor has a positive impact on our physical health. The Greek shipping magnate Aristotle Onassis used to say, "It is during our darkest moment that we must focus to see the light." Many psychologists and humorists agree that laughter is the best medicine. In times of crisis, it can be a powerful tool for coping with stressful experiences and fear. This is confirmed when you think about the way people have communicated, faced uncertainty, tragedy, and isolation during the COVID-19 crisis, with memes, funny videos, and jokes. The coronavirus has affected our lives on an unprecedented global scale. Yet, people kept their sense of humor. Why? Because a little bit of humor can go a long way to improve everyone's mental and physical health. Humor and laughter can increase our tolerance for pain and improve our quality of life. What? Yes, it activates the release of endorphins and so relieve muscle tension. According to research, if you laugh while watching a comedy, you can keep your hands in ice water longer than those who don't laugh. Super handy, right? You can even tolerate pain for up to 20 minutes after laughing. Humor also has the ability to strengthen our immune function. Laughter can improve the activity of the killer cells responsible for our resistance to disease. Anticipating a funny experience, such as watching a comedy, could even be enough to stimulate chemicals that reduce depression and the human growth hormone, helping with immunity. According to a study, the simple anticipation of a funny experience can reduce by at least 38% the stress hormones potentially harmful to our health. This leads me to my second point. Humor has a powerful impact on our emotions. A few weeks within the lockdown, as I was exchanging many funny videos and jokes with one of my professional contacts, he suddenly went missing in action. The crisis was at a peak, so I worried that he might have been directly impacted. I waited. 3 days later, he sent me a message to explain his mother was dying of the COVID-19. What to say? It seems inappropriate to share fun memes at that particular moment, but a few days later, he shared a fun video with me. That's when I realized humor was actually a healthy distraction. Humor has the power to put things in perspective in providing us with a framework for creating new meanings. This mindset shift makes challenges seem more surmountable and engenders a sense of control over circumstances that otherwise seem threatening. Although we all face the crisis differently, we all have the power to boost our mood through humor. Laughter has been shown to increase self-esteem, resilience, and well-being while decreasing negative thoughts, depression, and anxiety. In these uncertain times, we all received many humorous images and video daily. It's a very human way to deal with stress. Humor changes our view of our problems by giving us a slightly less serious perspective. Humor helps us to face horrible images in particular by allowing us to reinterpret the situation to make it more positive. This is my final point. The social impact of humor increases bonding among family, friends, and the rest of humanity. In the workplace, humor is an inherently social phenomenon. It can be a powerful positive resource and has been linked to many positive outcomes, such as enhancing group cohesiveness, for example. And frankly, if you're going to spend 8 hours per day at work, it's better if it doesn't feel like a prison, right? You can avoid confrontation and resolve arguments with good humor. A well-timed joke can help to ease a tense situation and overcome problems. In a context where people can feel helpless, humorous exchanges would even allow contributors to talk about frightening, sensitive, embarrassing, or taboo experiences while reducing the potential psychological impact. Humor would help us to cope, to reduce isolation by creating a feeling of cohesion and support from the community. I often lament that the most enjoyable things in life, like chocolate or alcohol, have negative health consequences. But humor is the one thing that is 100% enjoyable and good for you. It is one of life's best gifts. You should give it, share it as much as possible. So if there is anything we should all be doing every day, it's having a good laugh, or at least trying to live positive experiences that make us laugh. In Japanese, the word for crisis is very positive. The first character means dangerous. The second means opportunity. And that is what a crisis really is. Dangerous, scary, but it is also an opportunity, a chance for change. Before I leave the stage, let me give you 5 keys to lead through the midst of a crisis. 1, change your mindset. If you can change your mindset to see the funny side of situations, and make humor a habitual behavior, then you can change perspective and gain a healthy emotional distance from stressful, annoying, or threatening experiences. 2, communicate more than ever. The recent crisis has transformed the way we communicate. We looked at ways to build trust and sense of belonging while being far from each other. To maintain cohesion through the crisis, but also to reassure, leaders have gone the extra miles to communicate on a professional basis, but also a much more personal basis via multiple channels and more often. 3, be yourself. Before the recent crisis, your life could not get in the middle of work. We all remember the famous video of children interrupting a BBC News interview. In the last few months, we have collectively gained sympathy and empathy for those life situations, and just being yourself became widely accepted. Even better, your personality, your surroundings became tools to create an authentic connection with others. 4, take yourself less seriously. For most of us, what we do doesn't require the level of gravity we think is inherent to our position. What is really stopping us from infusing a bit of humor and fun in what we do? Start the virtuous circle and lead by example in taking yourself a bit less seriously. It will make you a more successful leader and will supercharge your relationship positively. 5, share jokes, memes. We lived one shared experience. Through this shared experience, people used humor to entertain themselves, but also to connect with others through different channels. The act of sharing a joke says a lot. It means, I think about you, I hope you are doing well, and I want to make you laugh today and connect. Perhaps your perspective on humor has now shifted and you see it as I do. An effective coping mechanism which has the power of boosting our physical resistance to stress and pain. A human emotional response to gravity and a call for connection and support. For the first time in our lives, we are all united facing the same crisis, wherever we are and whoever we are. Let's all take care of each other in spreading humor and laughter around us and making sure the current situation will not destroy the best part of us, our optimism. Of course, we will not fight a crisis only with jokes, and a meme is not a real coping mechanism. Using humor does not mean denying the gravity of the situation, but laughter unites us against a common enemy. So sometimes, as the Danish physicist Niels Bohr said, there are some things so serious you have to laugh at them. In facing a stressful situation, sometimes the best thing to do is to laugh about it. So don't be scared to send this funny video, to organize a virtual team networking event, or wear a funny hat in a team meeting. We need humor more than ever. And together, we can make the world a better place by the sole power of our sense of humor. Thank you.